What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the Dad Bod God, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, this episode, I've got Deadly Shot Kasai on. I'm really keen to have Kasai on, man. I've been on a couple of shows with him in the past year, bro, and I have to say he is an absolute cool human being, man. A great dude. I love having conversations with him, and I'm excited to have this one on the podcast for all of you guys to witness. But before we get into that, I do need to take a quick second to tell you guys about sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, sleefs.com. Look, if you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to hit up Sleefs. They've got all your athletic wear and gear covered. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty boxes that you always hear me raving about. I've got to tell you, these dirty boxes, man, I'm an active guy. I work full time. I'm podcasting my ass off. I'm training in the gym. I've got 3 crazy kids. I got a crazy wife. Just kidding, sweetie. But these boxes stay dry. They stay fresh, and they have funky designs on the front of them to keep that special person in your life giggling when the belt buckle comes undone. So go and check out those dirty boxes at sleefs.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, wherever you are finding us, I appreciate you for tuning in. I really, really do. If you're finding us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, all that good shit. We just hit over 1,000 subscribers. You know we're gunning for that 2,000 number. So tap that little red button and tap in. Also, guys, if you're listening on a podcast platform, please like, share, subscribe. Please give us a 5-star review. I appreciate it. It helps with our analytics. It helps us bring more amazing content and conversations to more amazing people like yourselves. So please do me a solid and fucking subscribe, rate, all that good shit. Woo! My goodness. I'm out of breath now, man. And now, let's get into it. My conversation with Deadly Shot Kasai. Yeah! Boom, and we're live. What's going on, Kasai in the motherfucking house?
Hey, man, how you going?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on doing the show, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
It's all good, man. How you feeling after that brutal cage match this past Saturday?
I'm sore.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit, bro. That was like, you know what, man? I said to you on the night, bro, that was honestly like the funnest match I have ever called. And I genuinely still mean that wholeheartedly, bro. Like, that was such a fucking thrilling match to call, bro. Like, what you guys did for like storytelling wise as well. Like, I really feel like it was really well executed. I think what you guys did in the ring made a lot of sense. And as I said, the emotion that both of you portrayed in that, even with you, who's usually a masked character, bro, like to portray that sort of like storytelling with like your body language, man. I thought you guys did a phenomenal job all the way around. I could not fault that match one bit.
No, thank you, man. That means a lot. I mean, what a bunch of compliments you just said in one paragraph. I mean, that honestly means a lot, and that's what we wanted to do. You know, that's we made this whole storyline from I think it was February of this year, the first EWA show. And we had the first one, we had the second one, and we had this one. And we had a few promos in between and stuff, really sort of trying to produce, obviously on some sort of scale, a storyline that we could, have the fans really coming back and invested in time after time, especially because there was a big gap between each of these shows, so you want them thinking something, you don't want to boggle their mind with so much, gaga. It's just, hey, next show, this is happening.
Yeah.
Because this, like the first time it was just mano a mano, me and him, he beat me, and then I jumped him, which now the crowd's like, okay, I guess it's not over yet. Then we moved to the second one, and I knew we were going to a cage match. I knew that was the end goal. We just didn't know how we were getting there. Somebody told me, I think it was the promoter, he wanted a cage. Yeah. So I thought in my head, and maybe I'm giving too much away, but I thought in my head, you know what? I've always wanted ninjas, like a pack of ninjas, a clan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then when he said cage to me, I'm thinking, well, this is the perfect reason to have these guys come out with me, to have them help me, because we now get to set up a cage match. No one else comes in. It's just between these two guys, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And now the ninjas are, part of my shtick. They come out with me. I think it helps a lot with what I'm doing anyway. I mean, I can go out there by myself and still do the gimmick, but it definitely helps. It's another tool in the toolbox, So thank you so much.
No, dude, it makes sense, bro, for the ninjas to be there. To me, I look at it fits the gimmick. But also, man, it's a reason as well, because I feel like, a ninja character, bro, is almost like, because ninjas don't usually talk. I know you've spoken on the mic and stuff like that, but you know what I mean? Like, but to get that extra heel heat is to have those ninjas there to do the fucking dirty, cowardly shit. You know what I mean? Because that's the way, because like if you just went out there and had that match and they weren't involved and they didn't take part and Tristan wasn't involved, then bro, it would have been like the crowd wouldn't have known who to cheer for and who to boo for, unless you came out and purposely like flipping kids off and telling people, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's not my shtick. I don't do that, and I know it's called shooting the shit, right? If we get into psychology of wrestling, I mean, I might be upsetting a few people, because I don't do that. I don't go out flipping the crowd, none of that. I don't have to.
All right, let's get into it, bro. Let's get into this psychology, bro.
All right, well, let's go right there. Okay, well, now that it's on my mind, heels. You're not a heel if you think that you're gonna fucking flip off the crowd and say you're gonna smack someone and all this bullshit. No. A heel puts the baby face over. Okay, all you selfish fucks out there. If you're such a selfish fuck, be a baby face. Learn how to wrestle, be a baby face, and get over. All right? I know my job as a heel. I know my job as a baby face. That's why the ninjas, like you just said, they worked so well, because the cheating puts the baby face over. It makes it feel like I need their help to get it done, which puts so much power in that baby face's hands, like, because he doesn't need that. Zuko's beating me up. He's beating these ninjas up. His partner, Tristan Slade, the Greasers, they're beating us up. Even when it's the numbers game, we're putting them over. And that's how, like you said, get heat. We get heat if the baby face is over. And if the baby face isn't over, how are we going to get heat? If the crowd doesn't give a shit about these baby faces, what heat am I getting? Oh, because I told some grandma in the first row, go fuck yourself? That's not heat. That lasts a split second and it's over. It's done. That doesn't carry you from show to show. That doesn't stick in their mind. Hey, you might lose a customer that way.
Yeah.
You might turn somebody off if you do that. But if you put the babyface over and then you say something to an audience member, and because that babyface is so over, they give a shit about you getting your ass kicked by that babyface. and now we make some fucking match.
That makes, you know what, that's 100% right, man. And like, I've just started doing the managing thing with Vinny Vane, and like, for me, I've never done promos and stuff like that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I know what a good promo is by watching it, and you know what I mean. But now having to do that shit, and like, I think people don't understand. It's like I could come out with all the, and looking back after doing it the first time, man, I go, fuck, man, I could have done this so much better. Like,
Yeah,
as far as like getting more heat by saying different things and doing, you know what I mean, like different things. But that's like living and learning, bro. And I've had like, people, reach out and give me advice after that and said, hey, look, this is what you did well, this is what you didn't do well. And the thing is, it's about listening to that shit, because like I feel, and we were talking about this last night with Zuko and Gibbs, is like a lot of people, I feel, and this is what we were talking about, is like that people in this generation, and this, like, young people today, millennials, whatever you want to call it, really go out of like not really wanting to put in the work to get something, wanting something straight away, but also like when they go and get feedback, just to sort of say like, no, what they want is a pat on the back, say, no, bro, like, you're good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
they don't want to hear the critiques of it to get themselves to the next level. They just want to
And I'm a young guy. I'm believe me, I'm not one. I'm not the Zuko. I'm not the Gibbs. I'm not these grizzled, knowledgeable vets like they are. I'm not
yeah,
at all. I'm one of the young guys, but it pisses me off just as much to see guys my age, younger, hell, even some of them are older than me, doing what you just said. They're expecting a pat on the back for just doing something, or for just asking someone about their opinion. It's like, why did you ask? If you really want to learn something, learn, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, that pisses me off so much too. And, I feel like over the years, I've, uh, I've really come into my own, sort of not allowing, um, not allowing the stigma of, oh, he's just a young guy. Because I was always the youngest in every
Yeah.
locker room. I mean, now I feel like I'm finally growing up, because there's finally people younger than me in these
Yeah.
locker rooms. So for
How
a
old are
while,
you now? How old are you now?
25 now.
25.
Yeah,
Fuck, man. When did you break into this? When did you get in? How
I
old were
was
you? 15. And like, where did you get your start? AWF?
Yep. So first it was AWF. AWF out of the Mass Nutrition shop in Penrith. There was a little area behind the supplement store, and we had a ring there and a little bit of a mat space. And basically, it was Greg TNT Bounds
Yep.
and Jay Law, real name Lee Leslie, and they were running the school at the time. Greg didn't have much. Um, didn't have much of training with us, one on, like, because he was traveling at the time a lot, and he was doing all sorts of other different things. I'm not really sure what, but he was doing something else. But it was AWF at the time, and maybe 9 months later, so Lee Leslie pretty much was the only guy training us,
Mm.
and J Law. And about 9 months later, they had a split, and that school ended up staying with Lee, J Law, I think, because he owned it before Greg had put his name on it as AWF.
Yeah.
And I just kept carrying on with J Law. And it wasn't until 2017, which I ended up going overseas, first to Japan for a few months. And then after that, I sort of outgrew, I would say, the it was called the APWG at that time, Australian Pro
Wrestling
Wrestling
team.
Union.
Yep.
Yep. So after AWF, APWG. So I pretty much outgrew that place. Um, I'm still very happy for the start that I had. Some people, especially now that I see how other people are getting started, and just the bullshit that they have to, like, I look, I get it, right? I get the whole paying your dues thing, right? Everyone should pay their dues, but at what point do you actually learn how to fucking wrestle? You know what I mean? Like, I hear so many different stories of this guy and this, like, people trying to find places to train, and they have to do fucking a laundry list of things before they even learn like how to wrestle, and then we end up with an indie scene the way it is anyway. I mean, half the guys, in my opinion, are shit. You know, I'll say it straight out. I don't fucking like most of the guys on the scene. I don't like them. Not personally. I don't know them personally. I don't fucking.
Sure.
I'm not one of these guys. I've only got a handful of people in my circle, right? I'm just
Right.
not a social butterfly like some people. But their work, I don't rate it. And it really goes back to, well, what are they doing in training? How are they learning? What are they learning? How often are they there? Are they doing other things on top of that? Are these guys? I hear a lot of people say technical wrestling, this and that. I go, you mean wrestling? Like, what the fuck are you talking? What's technical wrestling? So there's a non-technical wrestling, like all this shit. It makes me feel like, what are we really learning? What is the education? When you go to a school, any school, you go to university, you study something, right? You're getting an education. If you really ask these pro wrestling schools, what the fuck is the education? What is it? Fucking suck this guy's dick, fucking put over this guy. What is it? What is it? Break your fucking back learning how to do bumps because that's it? Because we want to weed out the other guys. You know how you weed out everyone? You teach them how to fucking wrestle. The ones that don't want to wrestle won't last. It's so simple. I wanted to always wrestle. I started martial arts at 12 years old because I wasn't old enough to do pro wrestling yet.
You said, like, these guys and these people that you don't like, and that they're not getting training properly, or how long do they have to take to get wrestling? What are a laundry list of things that they have to do? What are some of the things on that laundry list of things that you see that they have to do?
Basically, one of the biggest things that I see every time, right? I see a guy making his debut, whatever it is.
Mhm.
The laundry list of one of them is that they have to basically be in with everybody. And I'm not saying you got to be fucking antisocial.
None.
But it comes to a point where I'm like, look, I've just met you, right? And I've seen the way you interact. And I was listening to Zuko and Gibbs's podcast with you last night, and they were touching on this, how it's a different vibe. The way that these people are, it's a different vibe. Everyone's sort of friends with each other. Everyone sort of feels like we're tight knit, we're close.
Yeah.
And we get in the ring, and it's like, I don't get it. What have you learned? So the laundry list, it seems like everyone's just trying to be friends with each other. If you're not friends with this person, if you're not buddies with this person, if you haven't gotten over with the head trainers or the bookers or this or that, then hey, we might forget that you exist. We might ignore you for this guy over here who seems a little funny, who has a nice gimmick. And that's another fucking thing I just go nuts about. Guys, stop worrying about your fucking gimmicks. Learn how to wrestle. Shit. Fuck. And then they cover it up by having a gimmick. And then you say, okay, fucking lock up with me, man. Let's go. And they're the shits. So that's what it is. It's everything but wrestling. It's making friends. It's sucking ass. It's all that shit.
I mean, well, like you say, the majority of the people on the scene that are like that, like, how often are you going in and having a match with someone who doesn't know what they're doing, or just that you're not impressed with?
Majority of the time, I don't do many bookings because half the time, like, look, if there's not a big benefit for me right now, I see it as a detriment because, and I can't bring, and look at this, right? I can't bring family and friends to a lot of these shows. It's fucking embarrassing. It really is. It's fucking embarrassing because, I can tell them, hey, you're going to like my match, but then again, who am I working? If I'm working a Zuko, excellent. If I'm working a Gibbs, excellent, right? A Jay Sorbet, excellent. A Tristan Slade, excellent, right? But We're still up to single digits. And there were, double digits of wrestlers in this scene of all different, skill levels and everything. And honestly, I don't see wrestling a lot of these guys as fun. I see it as a chore sometimes. As long as I make my merch money and I get some money and whatever.
I mean, like if you're so dissatisfied with the industry, man, like why are you still doing this? Because like no one's
Because
making ridiculous amounts of money at this shit,
no
bro.
one is. No one is, right?
I mean, so
But
if you're not making ridiculous amounts of money, why are you putting your body at risk? Why are you going through with this? And why are you giving
that's
it time?
why, and that's why I pick and choose my bookings. That's why I do things that do make me satisfied. That's why I work with the guys that I know. It doesn't matter if I beat up my fucking body. If I work with these guys and we have a match and we have magic and we put fucking butts in seats and we get them to go nuts and love it and come back for the next show and anticipate more and more, and we continue to build things, that's why I love it. Because believe me, right? On a positive note,
Mhm.
there's nothing better than good pro wrestling.
I agree. I 100% agree.
But there's nothing worse than bad pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Nothing worse, man. At least if you watch a bad movie, hey, it's a bad movie. You can have a laugh at it. If you're watching a boring sports game, hey, it's a boring sports game. The guy
Turn it
sucks
off.
today, whatever. But if you're watching bad pro wrestling, it's embarrassing.
Man, it's not good. And as far as like, because that was one of the questions I did want to sort of ask you is like, because before EWA, I'd never heard of you, bro. Like I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't heard of you. I worked the 3 EWA shows with you. I think also an AWE show somewhere. We crossed paths as well. Really enjoyed conversations with you. But I always wondered, man, because I really enjoy your in-ring work, and I was like, why aren't we seeing you more around on the scene? And now, after saying what you said, that's obviously
Well,
clearly why.
it's very simple, like I'm also not the best guy at networking.
Yeah,
I've never been. I always wanted my work to speak for itself. And I would never get upset if my work didn't take me to this booking or that booking. I thought, well, that's the business. If they don't have something for me, they don't have something for me. Who gives a shit? That's the business, right?
yeah,
I'm not one of these, believe me, like this shooting the shit is exactly what I'm about. It's the business. And this is another thing now that I'm actually started teaching pro wrestling recently. I started a few months ago teaching alongside Gibbs at the wrestling school in Moorbank at the Lights Out Fight Gym. And a lot of the lessons that were instilled in me over the years, I'm now having the responsibility, because it's a responsibility on instilling on them to make sure that they understand that it's a business. That leave your fucking ego at the door. You want to have an ego? Fight in the real fights. Go to the UFC, fight MMA. You want to have an ego? Jump on the jiu-jitsu mat, tap somebody out. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and do the job the promoter tells you to do at the best of your ability, right? So, but these are my opinions that I hold, right? So maybe people don't like it. That's why they don't want me around. Who knows? But coming back to a positive note,
mm,
this is where I got to thank Robbie Zuko, because if it wasn't for him seeing something in me, even taking the time out of his own life to retrain a lot of the things that I was doing, taking like giving me fucking access to his home, and we'd wrestle for hours and hours. And he'd say, no, do this again, do this again, do this again. And he'd hammer that shit into me,
mm,
you know? And now you got him, singing my praises at all these different shows, telling all these different promoters, hey man, get him. You got a spot, put him, get Kasai. And I owe the world to him, as far as in this country, he's the best wrestler that is around now, before, forever, because he gets it. He's giving, And fuck, I mean, I joke with him that he's old, but you know, he's a 40-something-year-old man, and he can fucking move. Like, you got to keep up with him. He is
Yeah.
a fucking he's a legend. He really is. Because I mean, when you even just looking at his work, right? A lot of the time, he slows down for these guys, these younger guys. He's slowing down for them. That's fucking pathetic. That makes me fucking angry because he's slowing down from them. Are you kidding me? What are we doing wrong? What is my generation doing wrong? Do we have something in the water that's making us fucking shit? What's going on? What's going on here?
So you're saying majority of like young people in the business now are like just don't have like what they can't go as a cardiovascular way. Like what way can they not keep up?
You know what? I think on first glance, people might think it's a cardiovascular thing. And that's not completely wrong. It definitely has something to do with it. You know, just like all athletic endeavors, you know, you have to have a strong heart, right? But at the same time, I think it's also from a technique standpoint because I remember once I got my footwork together, I never got blown up again. Ever. Never again. Even now in my grappling, in my real grappling, if I notice like if I'm standing up with someone and they're intentionally trying to mess up my footwork, intentionally trying to off balance me and trip me up, that's where the falls now start coming in. That's where I get taken down. That's where I blow myself up trying to compensate and get back to a stronger balanced position, and then they take advantage and so on and so forth. But in pro wrestling, which is fake, and I'm going to say that a lot of the time, it's fake, people don't even have an understanding of footwork or balance or leverage or movement or speed or when to put their weight or where to put their weight or all these different things. They're just going, well, I got taught headlock like this, put the foot here, and then we do this spot, and then I run, and then I have to make sure I tuck my chin. It's such a watered down level of understanding of what we're really doing. No wonder these guys are getting blown up and don't know why. And then they jump on the treadmill for 20 more fucking minutes out of the week, thinking I'm gonna get my get back in shape. Just like I said, learn how to wrestle. Seriously. You know, I mean, I don't want to go into a history lesson, but fuck, when pro wrestling was real, right? And even when it was fake and it became predetermined and they started fixing all the matches and shit, they were all still real wrestlers. You know, Lou Thez, Vern Gagne, Billy Robinson, Carl Gotch, all these guys, they're real wrestlers. They were fixing the matches so that they can make more money and get hurt less. And now we're at a point where these guys aren't real wrestlers. They're getting blown up. They're actually making it harder on their body. And they're wondering why. They're wondering why the guys back then could wrestle for 2-3 hours and not break a sweat. And it was still fake. It was as fake as it was then as it is now. Why are they able to do that then? And these guys can't do that now. Now, again, someone who has no fucking idea is probably going to say, "Oh, well, there's more moves now. There's bigger risks. There's more stunts. There's more jumping. It's more of an athletic sport."
Yeah, well, it's evolved. You know what I mean? Like it's like any sport, bro. You look at like fucking soccer from the 1950s, bro. It's going to be different from 2022.
100%. But if you look at soccer or any other sport from 1950s to now, they know what they're doing though. They didn't just add these extra athletic movements and strategies and just went, whoa, we'll wing it. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And if we get blown up, we get blown up. It's the same thing. It all comes back down to technique. Do you know your technique? Do you know exactly what you're doing? Do you know where your weight is being placed? Do you know how high you have to jump? Are you an athlete? Now, I'm not an athlete. Believe me, I'm talking like an athlete. I'm not an athlete. I have to talk like this because I'm not an athlete. I have to understand exactly what I'm doing because I don't have the natural athletic ability as some of these guys. And that's why I'm detailed in what I'm talking about. But you got some guys who maybe have a little bit of athleticism, And they think, oh, who cares? I'll just jump high. Oh, who cares? I'll just do this. I'll just do it. And guess what? Hey, that might work today, but can you do that tomorrow? Can you do that the next week? What about if you get hurt? Can you still do it? You still going to rely on your athleticism? I don't think so. So I know we're sort of talking about sports in general, but it all comes back to pro wrestling. The fakest sport isn't supposed to be the hardest, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, like you're saying, like these people don't know what they're doing. Could it be that they're just like new to the business? Like, they're still learning the
Why aren't they getting
ropes.
taught?
Sorry,
Why aren't they getting taught?
man. Could it come down to them not listening? Because that's the thing, bro. Like
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I
Bro,
think that
bro, like I'm friends with a
people,
few people that are trainers, bro, and a couple of times I do hear from multiple different people like that. Some people are just like off with the fucking fairies, like, what I mean, like they're showing them how to do something, and like two guys are off in a corner fucking around, or what I mean, or they're talking shit.
all right, I get that. I understand that. You're always going to have students that, you know, are fucking annoying, right? That
Yeah.
they shouldn't be there. And they shouldn't be there. That's my opinion. They shouldn't be there. Kick them out. Because if that's really the case, you're hurting the students that care. You're hurting their time.
Well, let me
Like,
let me ask you this question, right? Because like a few people I know, should people who want to break into the business and do training do a tryout? And should they be pushed to the limit in that tryout?
it's not necessarily that it's a tryout. It's what's going on in that tryout. And it's not necessarily being pushed to the limit because the reason why look at Vern Gagne's show, the AWA, when they were doing tryouts with Ric Flair and all those guys, and Billy Robinson was stretching them out and forcing them to tap out and fuck them up, and as a tryout to get into the business. It was different back then because they were making so much fucking money that they couldn't just let anybody in and fuck with their business. That's why the term protecting the business means, but protecting the business does not mean that you're trying to make people believe it's real. No, I'm protecting the business to literally protect the fuck. I don't want you to fuck up my paycheck.
Mm.
Because if we bring this guy in and he's the shits and he ends up hurting the house, he hurts everybody. And that's also another reason why we shake each other's fucking hands. And that's another tangent I can go on a bit later, when people get a big fucking, oh, he has to shake my hand because I'm so and so. Go fuck yourself, right? We shake each other's hands because we fucking need each other because it's fake. You don't fucking go over unless I put you over, you fucking jack off.
But I think as well, like no, bro, please, man, no, it's completely uncensored, man. Like I think like shaking hands is just a general thing that you do when you greet people, right? Like, you know what I mean? If I see someone I'm close with, man, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna give them a hug, I'm gonna give them the whole "what's up, man."
Yeah.
I think that's a general thing. Even if you don't really like someone, but they're going to be performing on the same show as you, you still have to be.
We all work together.
Yeah, you have to have a level of respect, bro. Like,
shake everyone's hand. And forget about the wrestlers. Shake the fucking janitor's hand.
yeah, bro.
Shake you see someone back there, you see someone at that fucking ring before the show, you shake their fucking hand. I don't care who it is, you shake their fucking hand. We all need each other. You can't have the fucking first match without the main event. You can't have the main event without the first match. We all live, breathe, die together. Now coming back to the tryout stuff,
yeah, let's do
the way that I look at it is back then they had to protect the business because they were making so much money. Now we're not even making that much money, but so I don't see the point in really protecting it from that standpoint. I think we should protect it not because we're making so much money. I think we should be protecting the image of what professional wrestling is, especially on such a small scale that we have here in New South Wales, Australia, wherever you are, right? We should be protecting the image. So what are we doing as a community, as a scene, right? As a business to protect that image of what the people see about us? Do they really believe that we're athletes? Do they really believe that we eat, sleep, fucking breathe, die, eat shit, all this stuff about this business? We love it that much that we're full on in, right? Do they really believe that? Is that the image that we're putting across? That, again, they know it's fake, but they want to get into it. They want to believe that, no, these guys are athletes. These guys train for this. It's just like a real fight, just like a real fighter. They're training for this, which you should train for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I always tell my guys that I'm training now is, believe me, I will never waste your time. I take out the guesswork. And what I mean by that is everything I show you, you will use. Everything. Every single solo drill, every single thing I make you warm up with, it feeds into the moves that we're doing. It feeds into the wrestling that we're doing, into the footwork that you will need to master. Everything that I show you. It's not waste. I'm not going to make you do 1,000 push-ups because you have to do 1,000 push-ups. If you get your students to do 1,000 push-ups, or you tell yourself you have to do 1,000 push-ups, other than doing 1,000 push-ups, why do you do 1,000 push-ups? You have to tell me a reason. You have to give me, honestly, a reason that is going to transfer into that ring. And if you say, oh, it's because of this, this, and this, then you have to answer another question. Is there a better way? Is there a more time-efficient way?
That's the only thing I'm thinking, maybe. That,
but
like, I mean, I'm not trained, bro. I've never taken a bump.
But is there a better way? It's fine to have these answers.
But I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there. Like, I'm thinking conditioning of muscles and stuff like that. Like, that's the only way.
Is there a better way? Can it be scalable, though? Because I know we want to bring in students.
Sure.
Now, can everyone do 1,000 push-ups? No.
Fuck
so
no,
can
bro.
you now scale it? Can you now scale what you're doing? And forget about that. Does it transfer to skills? Is it a skill transferable exercise? Not really. And when I say skills, I mean when they get in the ring and they do their lockups and their takeovers and their switches and they run the ropes and they do all their stuff, whatever. Does it transfer to these skills? If not, why are we doing it? I'm all over conditioning. All right, I'm
no, bro. I've seen you, man. Like I've seen you go, bro. Like,
but is there a better way to do this stuff? And not only that, how long is a training session? Right, people do it for 2-3 hours. Right, you go to a pro wrestling because there's so much to go over. Right, on any given day, there's so much to go over. You got your bumps and your takeovers, and so much stuff. Right, then you have to have matches at the end and talk about psychology and so much promos. There's a lot to go over in a single pro wrestling session, right? So with that in mind, why are we doing so much that doesn't transfer into, you see, it's like a match. It should flow. Everything should flow into the next thing. Everything should be a chain, a link to help us continue this development of skill, psychology, wrestling, all of it. It should all be.
So you think like conditioning training, weight training, that sort of stuff should all be circulated into transferably into pro wrestling, basically?
100%. And if
so
anyone disagrees with me, look at what WWE is doing right now.
So instead of like someone
doing bodybuilding,
so in someone getting in a treadmill and doing like, I don't know, 20 fucking minutes running, they should get in there and they run the ropes for 20 minutes instead. Is that what you're sort of saying?
Yes. If you want to do the extra 20 minutes of treadmill, be my guest, whatever. You're a machine, all the power to you. But do not do it in substitute of your wrestling. I am sick and tired of seeing people say that they train pro wrestling and then all I see on their fucking stories and their statuses and all that shit is them in the gym and that's it. How? How are you training for pro wrestling? Tell me. Oh, I train every day. In the gym, that's extra. That's not pro wrestling.
That's working out.
That's working out, as you fucking should. Like, oh, I'm a pro wrestler. I lift weights. Those do not make sense. That is oxymoronic, what you just said. Unless you're wrestling and suplexing the barbell, it's the extra. You know, these same people can't put on a fucking headlock. These same people don't even know why a headlock works. You know?
I mean, I understand what you're coming from, you know, and I think when it comes to training, everyone's got different values and different ideas on what they need to do in a gym, like to work out for fitness and stuff like that. And I think you put in the extra element of pro wrestling as well. You know what I mean? Like, I think people want to try and have a good mixture. And I think as well, like, as I said before, man, no one's getting rich off this shit in Australia, bro. So like, I mean, people also need to have other outlets beside, wrestling 6 days a
Oh
week.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
No, no.
So I can understand that, bro. I can understand why people would go and have another outlet, like going and lifting weights or gaming or whatever the fuck.
No, but believe me, like, look, I'll tell you right now, I'm a full-time athlete, okay? I do not have a 9 to 5. I'm a full-time athlete. I train jiu-jitsu every single day, all right? I'm a grappler, all right? That's probably, maybe that's why I value real wrestling as much as I do. And maybe that's why when I see it be so much of a joke in pro wrestling, I just go, this is fucking embarrassing. Whatever. Because it could be better. Look, I understand. You want it to be fun. You want it to be exciting, which, hey, I have that in my matches. We just saw me jump off fucking cages and Zuko landing on me and like fucking mask being ripped. There was so much drama in that match. Like, believe me, I get it. Don't think I don't get what makes this business special. But at the same time, it's the wrestling business. Even Andre the Giant knew how to wrestle. Even Hulk Hogan was taught by I think it was Hiro Matsuda.
Hiro Matsuda, yeah, broke his
Yeah.
leg.
You think Hiro Matsuda fucking taught him fucking
Bro,
no.
did you hear Hiro Matsuda broke Hogan's leg the first time he met him?
Well, there you go, man. Like it
No,
doesn't mean
Hogan went in there to train, and Hiro Matsuda goes, "Yeah, no worries, get in the ring." Got him in the like a knee bar or some shit like that. Like it's a long time since I read or heard the story, but
I wish we
got
didn't
him
have
in a
one.
knee bar, broke his leg. Hogan came back like 3 months later, and he was like, "Oh fuck, okay, he's back here, so might as well start training him."
Excellent. But hey, he loved it, right? But that coming back to Hogan, it doesn't mean that you have to do wrestling this way, right? Like real wrestling. But to know it, to understand it, to come back to it when you have to, that's what I'm preaching. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. I get it.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their gimmick and a certain way of going about it. Hey, if it makes you money, it makes you money, right?
Right. Yeah.
But my problem is when we basically have now this, my generation, now another generation behind me coming up where they're like, well, I don't need to know wrestling because this guy on TV doesn't know wrestling, even though they probably do.
Mm.
They just don't, they're not making money that way.
Well, I feel like in order to be
shortcuts. That's my problem.
in order to be on WWE television, you have to be there with like a certain level of skill. They're not just going to put someone on TV just because they're not wrestling. Like you look at like NXT, Robert Stone, right? Oh, he's not a wrestler. Want to make a bet, bro? He's actually a pretty decent worker, man. He wrestled in Impact for years. He wrestled in Ring of Honor and a bunch of the indies, and he actually can go. Like I've heard mixed stories about him, but you know what I mean. Like, but still, like he wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if he wasn't a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like if he didn't know how to do that shit.
It's all basics. It's all back down to fundamentals. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
where my anger comes from. Is that you know I get pissed off very easily, and maybe that's why I don't get that many bookings, which I don't care anyway. I've got my grappling comps, I've got my other stuff that I'm doing anyway, so I like it. I like the way I'm living. But when I hear the way people talk about pro wrestling and what they're doing and stuff, and then they're missing all of these other crucial elements of the game, that's what pisses me off. And people might say, oh, well, why do you care? Right? Here's why I care. Because the same audience member that watches him watches me. That's unfair.
Unfair because like they're then gonna judge you as being a bad performer, like what you've just
Well, even if
described.
I'm good,
Or
even if
they're gonna look at you like you're shit, or like is that what your fear is?
even if I'm the best fucking wrestler that they think they've ever seen, I'm still on the same show as that guy.
Yeah.
I still have to perform with that guy. Fuck, I might even have to put that guy over. Which again, who gives a shit? But come on, guys, you don't want to put over. Like, look, we all know that you're supposed to put everyone over, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Be prepared to.
be prepared, exactly, right? But who wants to put over the fat, out of shape guy that can't wrestle?
Mm.
See what I mean? That's fucking
Yeah.
embarrassing. That's like, and you think that we're gonna draw money doing that? You
No.
think that people are gonna take what we do seriously now doing that? You think that people are gonna see that and go, I have to come to the next show. I'm gonna bring the family and the big family time. Everyone's gonna come to the next show. No. You think that they watch that and then they go home and watch literally anything else and they're gonna keep thinking about us?
No.
Like you said, none of us are making money. We don't have the privilege of being on TV. We don't have regular weekly shows.
Mm.
So whatever we put in front of that audience, that's the impression.
It needs to captivate the audience to bring them back.
It has to. And you have to be as well-rounded as possible to know what's going to captivate them. Because, hey, maybe they don't give a fuck about your flips. Maybe they don't give a fuck about your gimmick. Maybe they don't give a shit about your wrestling. Whatever it is, you have to know how to captivate them. You have to be as well-rounded as possible. Understand that this is a business, that you're selling something. You're your own promoter.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, this is the wrestler's business. It's not up. Look, the promoter has a job to do. Yes. The booker has a job to do. Yes. But hey, no one's giving me a script and saying this is your match.
No. You have to go. You have to go put the moving pieces together with that.
I've got to put it all together. I'm my own boss. I'm my own promoter, my own agent. When I'm out there in that ring, that's all whatever they see, that's on me.
Do you feel like, you said like these guys that are in the ring and in the audience seeing someone like that, then not taking you seriously because that sort of type of person's on the same card. Would you hold the promoter for that show responsible for putting someone like that on a show?
Yes. Yes, I definitely do. Yeah.
Okay. And like, how many shows would you go to? Would you see that?
Every show I've seen since I started.
So there's no in particular promotion that you see it on a regular basis. It's just basically what it is.
Everybody. Show me a show, I'll show you the guys.
Right.
Everybody has them. Everybody. Every single company has the guys that shouldn't be on the show. Every single company.
And why do you think that is?
Fuck. That could be a huge conversation in itself. Maybe some of them just maybe some of them have low standards. You know, I mean, that's something that I a lot of the time forget about. I don't realize that a lot of these guys just don't even have the standard in their brain of, like, to them, they think everyone's good. Everyone's perfectly adequate to be on the show. And then I see it, I'm like, are you kidding me? What's going on there? So it can come down to I think low standards would be the most common one. I think as well, laziness, maybe that's who they could just find and they just stuck with it. They just, settled with, oh, this is all I could find on such short notice. So who cares?
Yeah.
As long as we have matches, as long as we have our 5-6 matches, whatever, as long as we fill up a card. I would say as well, I would also say lack of respect for the business, man, because, you see it, you hear it all the time. People do not think of professional wrestling the way that other people do. It's you look at Twitter for 2 seconds and you see it's almost gotten political, It's such a divide in pro wrestling where you got these guys think this, these guys think that. This guy says the old school's the best. This guy says the new school is the best. This guy says psychology. This guy says flips. This guy's,
But that's the thing, bro. Like, wrestling is so fucking subjective, right? So what you love about professional wrestling, I might not like. And what I love about pro wrestling, you might not like. And that's okay, bro. That's like saying, hey, man, I really like the fucking color. I really like the color black pen. That's my fucking favorite. And you go, nah, fuck that, bro. My favorite's green. Green's the fucking
I think it's different than that, though. I don't think it's about the color. I hear that. I hear that a lot, and at least in my opinion, I'm not looking at it like that. I think there are, don't get me wrong, there are definitely some guys where if you tell them that you like chocolate flavored ice cream, they will wish the fucking death on you because they like vanilla.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I know those guys exist. I think where I'm coming from, though, is I don't care what you do. I don't care how you really do it. Just please have it make sense. You're trying to win. He's trying to win. You don't want to lose. He doesn't want to lose. There you go. The most basic, simple story of them all. I want to win. I don't want to lose. As long as you're telling me that, I don't care what you're doing. But these guys aren't doing that.
What are they doing?
I'll give you a perfect fucking example. How many times?
Before we start, what are they doing when they're not doing what you just?
I'll give you a perfect example right now. How many times on a show do you see somebody knock them down, pick them back up?
Every show.
Every show.
Like, almost every match, yeah.
Every match. How do we win?
By pinning. Yeah.
So you don't want to win? Look, I don't care what your next move is. Do it, whatever. But pin the fucking guy if he's on the ground.
Go for the win.
I'm not asking for you to. I'm not asking for anybody to do a backflip, hurricane runner, fucking fall on your head through a flaming table, even though you guys want to do it. I'm not asking for that.
Yeah.
I'm asking for you to fucking put a pinfall if he's on the ground. Chuck a fucking hold on if he's feeding you a chin lock. Make it look like you're trying to control this guy in some way.
But does that come with
controlled?
But does that come with experience? And what's the difference? And I'll let you answer that one. Does it come with experience?
Yes, it does come with experience, just like anything in life, but it also comes with what are you doing right now? Because at the end of the day, experience comes with repetition. You have to actually be doing the things. Robbie said it perfectly last night. Guys say they don't know how to call on the fly. Well, fucking start. Start calling shit on the fly. Learn. You're not going to get a textbook on how to call on the fly, study it, go for a test, get the exam, pass it, then go to university, get your fucking degree in it, and now you know how to call on the fly. You don't know how to call on the fly? Try. Just do it. Like I said, I'm not asking for much. Just do it. Just fucking do it. Make it make sense. Think a little bit, just a little bit. Don't think about the next move. Think about why you just did what you just did. Think about the previous move. He just gave me a body slam. Think about that now. He just gave me that. Remind them that he just gave you that.
Sell it.
Sell it. Person who just gave the body slam. Remind them that you just gave it. Put your fucking move over. Whatever it is. You just gave him a fucking body slam. Yeah. I'll break his fucking back. I don't give a shit. And if it doesn't fucking break, I'll break it now. Because I fucking want to win this match. Show them. But nope. Boom. Who cares? Pick him back up. Bang. Boom. Yada yada. We all jerk off. Go fuck yourself.
So you reckon it's just more of like a spot fest of like planned out spots as opposed to people going in there and working a match?
Yeah. And that's why people think we're fucking stupid. Because they know on some level this shit hurts. They know on some level that this shit fucking puts a toll on your body. And they think we're fucking stupid. Because guess what? It looks dumb. You're hurting your body and it looks fucking dumb.
Do you is it like you think like saying people it makes everyone look stupid? Is that you thinking that, or is that like someone's told you that, like from outside the business, saying, "Hey man, this is some
I go up
goofy
to
shit."
audience members every show. I try to prostitute myself at the merch table every fucking show. I ask them their genuine opinion. I'm not asking them for critique because they don't fucking know anything. I'm asking them on their opinion as a paying customer. What do you think of the show? Be honest with me. I want you to tell me. Did you enjoy this match? Did anything look silly? Did you cringe that you were here at any moment? Like, oh, this was a bit dumb. Did you look at your phone? Did you tell me who's your favorite wrestler?
Are
Why do
people
you
straight
like
up with
him?
you?
Why do you like him? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious because
Are
I
people
like
straight
him.
up with you when you ask them this shit?
Huh?
Are people straight up with you when you ask them this shit?
Well, they're telling me what they're telling me. You know, I can't think that they're lying or telling the truth. I'm asking them a question, they're answering it. And a
Yeah.
lot of the time, people are saying, "Oh, I thought this match didn't really make a lot of sense. I didn't understand why he did that. Oh, there was one funny thing. I don't know if it was a botch or not." I get that a lot. I don't
Yeah.
know if this was a botch or if this was a mistake or if he meant to do this, but and that to me is a big red flag
Mm.
because you should be showing intention in fucking everything that you do. So for an audience member to come away saying, "I don't know why he did that," or "I'm not sure if he was meant to do that," they're questioning now, like you're pulling them out of the experience. If
Mm.
they're thinking that way, you're pulling them out. Just like if you were watching a movie and all of a sudden in one scene the car has a scratch on it and in the next scene the scratch is gone and you notice it for a second but in your mind it takes you out of the movie because all you're thinking is, "Oh, did they forget to put the scratch in?"
Yeah, 100%.
But you're not thinking of the story anymore.
Yeah.
You
You've been
maybe
taken out of the element, bro. You've
you
been
just
taken out
got
of that
taken out.
element.
You're now thinking of a backstage of a non-kayfabe mindset. You're thinking about what they were trying to show you rather than what they just fucking tried to show you.
You know, it's funny. I was watching a show. Like, I'm a huge I love watching indie wrestling from around the world. Like, I've always enjoyed it for like the past 20 years, right? And I was watching an indie show, and they did a spot, and the commentator. This is the words that I want to see your reaction from this, right? These two guys did a spot. It was very clearly like a planned fucking spot, right? They had the table with the gimmicks on it and shit. They hit the spot, and the commentator screams, "Oh my God, that's not supposed to happen."
How do they know?
Well, not only that, why the fuck would you say in a pro wrestling match, "Oh, that's not supposed to happen," but everything else up until that point has been supposed to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's where
That's
I'm
why I
like,
say, how
what
do
the
they know? Because I'm now thinking from a backstage. It took me out of it.
it took me out of it straight the fuck away. Like, I'm sitting there
Yeah.
watching this, right?
I'm now questioning, well, why would you how would you know? Was there a thing backstage that you talked about? Or like you're taking because they take me out of the magic. That's exactly right. Like it's but then like you said, hey, well, everything else happened. Well, that's supposed to, go to plan. Um I don't know. Yeah, that's fucking weird. But you hear a lot of that. Surprisingly, you hear a lot of that kind of stuff. Not even just from the from commentators and stuff, because a lot of the time it's not live commentary, but even
Mm,
from the wrestlers. You hear them verbally or body language wise show that they fucked up,
mm,
show that something wasn't meant to happen.
mm.
Why? Because it was like they fucked up.
They're
But
thrown out of their element a little
they're
bit.
thrown out of their element. Now, if you're throwing yourself out of the element, how do you think the fans feel?
Yeah. I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
well, I mean, it depends on the crowd, bro, as well. Like, if it's a if it's a family-friendly show, kid-friendly show, most of the time they're, pardon me, they're not probably going to even pick it up if it's
Maybe,
quick,
maybe
unless
not.
it's like there for a minute and a half or 30
Yeah,
seconds and
yeah.
it's obvious. But most of the time, they're probably not going to pick that shit up.
The, I don't think they pick it up consciously, but this is why I love a lot of family-friendly shows that are completely just total casuals at best, as far as wrestling fandom, is
Yeah.
because a lot of them may not know the lingo, or a lot of them may not understand uh, certain traditions of pro wrestling that has come up, like the way that they're supposed to react to certain things because the wrestling fans have been conditioned to do something and say something and cheer and boo for certain things, right? But
Yeah.
that's why I love the family friendly audience because those are genuine reactions. They're not conditioned reactions. And a lot of the time, they're not, they don't then they may not react to the botch or this or that, but unconsciously, they feel something.
Mm.
You know, they go, and even if it's a split second, took them out.
And
Made
that's the
them
thing. I feel like when you break people out of that element, and like bro, you would have seen, like, we were talking about this last night, and it's like I was saying, like, even when you see certain things, like take death matches for example, and I see like people going, like, fucking, like, three people standing around going boom, 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 and just like circling, like picking light tubes up and just hitting each other. And yeah, okay, like it looks like a gnarly spot, right? It looks pretty gnarly to see. But like you're hitting each other with like light tubes, no one's fucking falling down, no one's really excessively bleeding. Now, like the next match is going to be a 200 light bulb match where these guys are going to sell the fact that these light tubes are going to cause them all this fucking damage and they're going to gig the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
yeah,
think that takes the value out of it. It's like you're using these things in wrestling to enhance a match, to enhance a story, to tell a story to a more violent level, and yet you do goofy shit like that.
well, there you go, 100%, right? And that's, I think, another reason we'll circle back to something else. That's why I would be very angry and upset when I see certain people on a show with me or in the same match as me, because it is embarrassing. Like you just said, they're doing all of this, then this doesn't mean anything. Like, imagine for a second, right? Uh, Me and Zuko, the last show, right? Most recent show.
Okay.
We had that cage match, and we're fucking beating each other up, killing each other, whatever. But imagine the entire show before that happened
Mm.
was all joke. It was
You
all
wouldn't have you wouldn't have taken the match seriously, bro. You'd think it would be like a comedy match or something, or a throwaway match.
but imagine if all of it was joke, all of it was talk wrestling. And if people don't know what I mean by talk wrestling, that means when people go, "Ow, my head! Ow, my arm!"
Yeah.
Fucking sell with your body language in your face and shut the fuck up, all right, guys? Fucking hell, it's embarrassing. But basically, imagine if the whole show was that, and then you had our cage match.
Well,
And this,
that's where dude, that's where you have to put over someone like Zuko, who, like, I mean, his gimmick is kind of like for that family friendly crowd, right? Like it's very like interactive, it's very funny, it's very like cool. You know what I mean? Like it's a cool gimmick, it's fun, it's all of those things. But when you look at the history of pro wrestling, those history tells us those particular types of characters aren't really taken the most seriously when it comes to, a full on wrestling match or a heated feud. They're usually there to bring a little bit of the sizzle to the steak, but not the steak. Where
and
like Robbie Zuko can go and turn around, and you know what? Like his gimmick didn't hold him back in that match. He
and
came
that's
out even
why
like, I mean, it was altered to a certain
that's
degree.
why I think he's the greatest that we have in this country, because he's well rounded. What I was saying before,
Mm.
he can jump on the mic, say something funny, turn around, say something serious. You believe both.
Yeah.
The gimmick doesn't, and that's the thing. The gimmick should never hold you back, ever, 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 ever. You should never be handicapped by your gimmick. You should always have it as an extra tool to showcase who you are. It doesn't mean that has to pigeonhole you in any emotion or state of mind or anything. It just means this guy is this. This is his personality.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't get angry. It doesn't mean he doesn't get happy. It doesn't mean he doesn't get sad. But now you put it into perspective. Why is he happy? Why is he getting angry? Why is he sad? That's why. And I don't think it's just a family-friendly audience. I think he's that well-rounded that he
Mm.
can do that anywhere.
I agree. I completely agree. I think even like an over 18 show, I reckon he could turn that shit up all the way to fucking 11 or whatever. And you know what I mean? Like, dude, like some of the shit that he fucking has, like the three largest legs of professional wrestling, that would fucking go over huge with an adult only crowd. But like as far as like, for yourself though, man, like looking at things how it is, like you seem like pretty annoyed with the industry overall.
I'm not annoyed with the industry. I'm annoyed with the scene that I am in here because I live here. When I went overseas to the States and in Japan, I had the best time.
Where did you go when you were in the States?
In the States, I went to Los Angeles. I wrestled for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood on television. That I
Oh,
had
cool.
had 3 tapings with them. I also did a bunch of independents around the area, the LA area. I also went over to Minneapolis. I was probably in Minneapolis the longest.
Oh, really?
And out of all the states, the second time I went, I went back to LA, Minneapolis, and I also did New York and New Jersey. It was
Yeah,
like on the cusp
that's where the
between.
real hub is, right? New
Yeah,
Jersey.
it was sort of on like the cusp. We ended up catching a train from New York down to New Jersey. It was sort of like right on the edge between New Jersey and the other state. I can't remember what the name was, but it was like
Philly?
right in the middle there. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm fucking horrible with geography. If you can show me a map, I'll point at it. Like,
Oh, bro, I'd have no idea what you're pointing at, man.
but I can't like just remember this stuff off by heart. But yeah, around there. I'm hoping to go back next year, probably to Florida. I've got a lot of friends over there. Do some good training, do some batches, get some jiu-jitsu going, some grappling. Yeah, have some fun. And in Japan, it was just Tokyo. I was with the Kai Dojo.
How was
Uh,
that?
Excellent. I loved it. I really loved it. You you really see how much they, even on such a small scale, because it was the same as us, there was an
Yeah,
independent, but even on such a small scale, how much love, and not just love, because
respect.
I get annoyed by people when they say that they love the business, that they have dreams and hopes. It's like, go fuck off. No one cares, right? Like,
You're just like destroying everyone in this
but
episode.
it's like, who cares? What are you
Yeah,
gonna do for the business? You want to
yeah,
take everything from the fucking business. You want to have your hopes and your dreams and this and that and whatever. And it's like you want to live
yeah.
your boyhood, childhood dreams. What are you going to do for the business? How are you going to make the business better? Not how is it going to make your fucking life happier and better and cooler and all this garbage, you know? And one thing you know about me is I put the business first. This is why I fucking hate so many people. Because I'm not trying to make friends with them. I'm trying to do good by the business. I'm trying to make sure that the business is in a better fucking place when I'm in the ring, that I'm doing good by the business. If I can have a match, I can say, I did good by the business. I put a good match out there. I made some magic. People had fun. Kids had a good fucking time.
Yeah.
They have something to go home and talk to the kids at school about, have some fun, talk, come back for the next show, even bigger and better. Watch some quality fucking pro wrestling. That's what I'm in it for. I don't want to fucking hear about your dreams and your hopes and, your jerk off fucking fantasy dreams. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care at all. If it's not helping the business, fuck off. I'll break your leg like fucking Hero did to Hulk Hogan. All right?
Fucking goddamn son.
I'm being
Goddamn.
serious.
You're
I'm being
so
serious. I've
fucking
fucking been
bro.
in locker rooms I've fucking threatened cunts because fuck them. Like it's not right where they put themselves over the business. Go fuck themselves. It's not right. It's fucking not
Well,
right.
you've actually like threatened people backstage.
Yeah.
Like, who in particular have you like threatened to throw hands with?
Or if I say fucking names, they're all gonna start crying and making up fucking stories, and they already avoid me now. So fucking who cares? You want to know? Fucking just ask around. Say,
All right.
hey, does Kasai ever fucking threaten to fight you? Eventually, someone's gonna have to say yes.
I
You
don't
know,
know, man. I don't think it's going to be
'cause
something
they're not
like
good liars. No one in this business is a good liar. Because if they fucking were, I wouldn't have a problem if they work. Because at the end of the day, we're all liars. We're all fucking scam artists. We're all putting on a fucking work. That's work. A scam artist. Worker means scammer. You're putting on a lie. You're selling a lie. This isn't real, but we're trying to sell something that is. So if these
Well,
guys were really that good of liars, I wouldn't have a problem with their work.
fair enough. As far as yourself, like one of the interesting things I sort of saw that you wrestled for FWA at the start, and I think you were the first champion there.
Yeah, I'll give you a clue on that fight story. Was that an FWA show?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I heard I wanted to throw down. I didn't see him.
Really? Is that why you're not working FWA anymore because of
Yep.
that incident?
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's been no talk to bring you back there, and
I mean, Vinny Vane, a good friend of mine, he would love to have me back there just to, have someone backstage who's like me, I guess, cool, down to earth, one of the boys. But I don't know, good old Fivey doesn't wanna play ball. And I don't care. Anyway, what does he draw? Like fucking 50 people? Who cares?
fair enough, man.
Just gonna bring another international guy that makes fun of him while everyone else on the roster fucking makes fun of him so that he can put himself over so that they can make more fun of him. I don't want to be around that. I'll fucking go do a jiu-jitsu comp. I'll go fucking, teach the fucking grappling stuff that I do. I'll go fucking train grappling. I'll fucking do all this stuff that I love. I don't want to be fucking around that embarrassing shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, fair enough, man. And like, so it's basically the same way that you feel about most promotions in general, yeah?
I want to get something out of it. And what I want to get out of it is helping the business. I remember we did this. There was this show. There was this company named CWA.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah. So I remember when we started doing it, and I was real fucking green at the time. And a bunch of us were all green at the time. A bunch of the old school APWG boys. We would go there, and it was on like Sunday of every month.
Mm.
And we get there, and the show, you didn't have to do shit. You didn't have to fucking set up ring because the family that ran the show had everything the way that they wanted it to, whatever. They had it all their way. You didn't have to set up anything. You didn't have to promote anything. You showed up. They just wanted wrestlers to show up, wrestle each other. We pretty much made our own matches. You had the dream, whatever you like. You just
go
got
and
to,
wrestle.
yeah, just go and wrestle. But every show, I was so depressed and so fucking upset with myself because that environment only did one thing.
Mm.
It created the worst shows that you could do on purpose. These guys weren't going out there and trying to put on great fucking matches. These guys were basically going out there, taking the piss, not caring, just going, who cares? We're getting a fucking payday. Let's just go out and try some moves. And if it's fake, who cares? If it's this, it's that. A majority of the guys did that. And being around that, you don't fucking feel good. You don't feel like you're helping the business. Are you going to bring anyone to this audience, to this show? There was never a great big show because it was just the promoter's family and whoever he decided to bring himself. We didn't bring anybody because it was so embarrassing to bring anybody. But then it's like, well, why are you on it? It's depressing.
Yeah.
And I think FWA has pretty much become that now. He's got more wrestlers in the locker room than he does have fans in the audience. And
Not necessarily. The last couple of shows they've drawn pretty well.
Well, good for him then.
Decently.
Well, good for him. It's been 5 fucking years too late, right? Like, how much money has he lost down the drain? And all these guys that he books, are they bringing anybody? No. Are they taking the piss? Yeah. Are they doing anything for the business? No. It's fucking depressing, man. And I don't see, and like you said before, how people have other outlets and people do these other things. These guys don't. These guys just want to fucking take the piss and shit on the business, and that's it. They don't have other outlets. I'm the one of the other outlet. I'm the one that fucking grapples and fucking teaches kids classes at my jiu-jitsu gym and fucking hangs out with my family and fucking has fun. These guys aren't doing that. These guys think fun is fucking taking the piss out of everything. Proof, watch the show.
Yeah. No, you're like, I feel like it's not just like from that promotion, but you see that,
That's
like
just a perfect example.
but you see that from like indie wrestling in general. Like you look at
Of
stuff from around the world. Like I watch a lot of wrestling from around the world, and like I see a lot of goofy shit happening in wrestling. And I think that, bro, I'm 40 years of age, right? So like some of this shit is gonna go over my head, right? Different demographic. They're not trying to market to a motherfucker like me, bro. They're trying to market to someone younger, whatever the hell it is. So sometimes, like, I'll watch NXT or WWE television and go, "What the fuck are they? What is
Yeah,
this nonsense?"
yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe I'm just a grumpy old fuck, and that's just the way I've become. But
No,
like,
but hey, if you're paying, if you're watching, why can't you enjoy it?
yeah, true.
Why I never understood that. I never understand why there is such a divide. I never because okay, listen to this, right? The divide comes amongst fans and workers and pretty much the entire business, right down the middle. It
Mm,
comes down to what is wrestling, right?
yeah,
Everyone says, "Oh, wrestling can be whatever it wants to be. You can make wrestling whatever it is," which sounds like a fucking political side at the moment, and maybe that has something to do with it. Because in my opinion, wrestling, the professional wrestling business, always imitates society. It always reflects society. That's why in the Attitude Era, it was a reflection of society at that time.
I
That's
agree.
why in the Golden Era, it was a reflection of society. What worked on screen in those eras is also what you saw as the norm, as a cultural norm in society at those times. And that's why it got over at those times.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's why the business is the way it is today, because you look at society as a culture, as a demographic, as what's interesting today to people, what how people live their lives. Maybe that's why wrestling has gone down the way that it has, because it's always going to be a reflection. It's always going to have to catch up with society. It's never going to influence society. It's always going to catch up so that it can influence society, you know? And there has definitely been times in history that it's done that. You look at the Austin
Yeah.
316 era, it definitely caught up to society so that it can then influence society, you know? But it's never doing the first influencing. It always has to catch up with what's hot, what's going to make these people buy into me, or this or
Mm.
that or whatever, you know?
That's the
Um,
beauty about crossover, though. Like that's what you
100%.
see so much different in crossover. Like you see Logan Paul now coming into WWE. You know what I mean? Like, dude comes
Oh,
with fucking 5 million subscribers on YouTube.
yeah.
And
Exactly. And
that's
that's a
5 million,
celebrity.
bro.
Today,
That's
that's a
5 million
celebrity.
people that come into WWE that may not watch WWE. That's a big fucking increase in viewers. That's a big.
I agree 100%. He's basically the Mr. T of today, right?
Mm,
If you want to
mhm,
look at celebrity status, whether you
yeah.
like it or not is irrelevant, but the celebrity status, what he can bring to the table. My issue always comes down to what's it doing for not just the business money wise, but is this now going to help long term? If it does, excellent. If it helps the image, excellent. Do it. If it hurts it, which most celebrity appearances have in professional wrestling,
Look, I think my view on pro wrestling is if you can bring something to the table, you can bring audience members to there, you can bring people that want to pay to see you, then you have a spot on a show. Like if you can go and do something and that draws people in or gets people talking or creates a fucking buzz, you should be on the show. And
but
if you're
will it
not,
draw consistently though? I think that's a question people don't keep in mind. Will it draw consistently? Will it draw a year from now? Or will it
mm,
hurt the fucking town a year from now when everyone gets bored and you can't keep doing it because it's going to fuck up your body or whatever the reason is, and then you start from scratch again?
dude, I think what Logan Paul came into WWE, he's done amazing. You know what I mean? Like for a guy
Oh
who's
yeah,
wrestled a couple matches, even a guy like Pat McAfee came
yeah.
in, and those are two dudes. You know, you talk about respecting the business. These guys came in, and fuck, Pat McAfee, he put on a better match than half the guys on NXT could do. Shit, he did a better match than half the guys on the main roster in WWE fucking put
You
on.
see, to me, that doesn't. that's not a positive.
It's not a positive, bro, but at
What
least
are
it's
you
a
guys doing
respect.
that this
But
outsider?
if you're under contract, bro, if you're under contract and you see an outsider that can come in and put on a fucking better match than what you've put on in the last 6 months, how are you feeling?
Exactly. That's my point. What are we doing as the guys in the business to keep our spots, to be worthy? This is what I meant by fuck your dreams. What are you actually doing to be in that spot that you have?
Yeah.
Because if
You're
some guy can just come along and do it better than you, fuck your dreams. Leave.
Mm.
No, you're fired. Fuck off. No, can't do this. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's embarrassing. That to me is embarrassing. Because
Yeah.
everyone knows the celebrity's coming along and they're like, "Oh, he does it better than the fucking." Well, what are we doing then? But to circle back, I'll say this about what we we're saying about what people mean by pro wrestling, and they all go in their things. Some people don't even call themselves pro wrestlers now; they call themselves performers and all this other stuff, right? They call themselves
Artists.
artists.
Not a fan of that term, bro?
No,
Oh.
you want to be an artist, be an artist, but you're a pro wrestler. Like, you can't get mad at sports entertainer and then call yourself a fucking artist. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? At least sports entertainer makes some sort of sense.
But I mean, could you imagine, like, you go and you meet someone out for dinner and you're like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm a sports entertainer." I'm a
What are you gonna
sports
say?
entertainer.
What are you gonna say? I'm an artist instead? I'm an
But
artist. Oh, let me show me your work. And then you show them this fucking fake ass wrestling match. Like, wow.
no, but like a sports entertainer, it's like that's just another word for a streaker. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, well, I thought I saw you at the Super Bowl. Oh, AFL Grand Final 2012. That's where I've seen your ass before. I thought I recognized the back of your head.
All right, we got to make t-shirts of that. Someone draw something up for that, because that's fucking hilarious. Sports entertainer and just show some cunt streaking.
With a picture of my face on one and yours
Yeah,
on
there
the
you go. There you go.
yeah,
Shooting the
exactly.
shit.
Shoot the
Uncensored.
shit while streaking. But it is that time of the show, ladies and gentlemen. And everyone else, it is time for 60 seconds with Piers. How this is going to work, I'm going to fire off a bunch of questions. Deadly Shot Kasai has 60 seconds to answer as many as he can within
Let's
a
go.
minute. When you're ready to let me get the clock started, let me know and I'll start it off.
Mhm.
Favorite song to sing in karaoke?
Oh, living on a prayer.
What is your most embarrassing moment from school?
When I had a crush on two different girls,
Oh,
and for some reason I told them both at the same time.
oh you jabroni.
And
Home barbecues or nightclubs?
barbecue.
Shittest gift you've ever received?
I got a tie once.
Hey, that's not too bad. I'm a Thai guy. Master Chef or My Kitchen Rules?
Neither.
If you were given a lion as a pet, what would you name it?
If I was given a line as a
As a
pet,
pet, yeah.
what do you mean?
Like if I said, "Hey, Kasai, it's your birthday tomorrow. Here's a pet lion. Here's a
A
lion."
pet lion. What you said
Yeah.
lion. A pet lion. If I was given a pet lion, shit, fuck, I would just do some fucking lion shit. I don't know. I'd sleep with it and fucking go on an adventure. I don't know. Make a action movie. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but what would you name it?
What would I name it? Leo.
Leo the lion. I like it.
There you
Okay, so one of the last ones. What question do you wish I asked you in this interview, and how would you have answered it?
go. I wish you would have asked me about my mask. I would have told you that I created this fucking thing. I drew it up. I designed it myself from this brain of mine. And I would have told you that I have multiple of these available at every single merch table that I am wrestling at for only $5. And you yourself can buy one. And so can any of the beautiful paying customers. Buy some, get some for your family, your friends, your kids, and or join the DSK Dojo Army.
There you go. And last question. In 5 minutes, you are being shipped to outer space. What 2 personal belongings do you take with you, excluding human beings?
I'm going to take my phone. I hate that I have to say that. I don't want to say that, but that's a reality because of, everyone needs
100%. Man.
And the second, I would take some mats, like jiu-jitsu mats.
Yeah. So you can
I'll
film
make the first ever
solo
grappling space organization.
I love it. That has been 60 Seconds with Piers with the deadly shot, Kasai. Bro, where can everyone find you on social media and go and give you a follow?
Yep. So you got Instagram, ds_Kasai. That's KASAI. Twitter, I have ds_KASAI. I believe it's 1. And then you have Facebook on DSKASAI for Facebook as well. So follow that. Follow when I'm wrestling. You can also see some of my grappling competitions on there, some of my cool submission finishes, even me getting knocked the fuck out.
Whoa. So go check it out, guys. Go subscribe, follow Kasai. And, I feel like we should definitely do a part 2 of this episode, man. So I definitely think that's on the cards. So
definitely. But when you went to the 60 Seconds with Piers, I was like, I still have so much to say. We're barely this was basically a fucking psychology lesson, but I can go on about road stories, and I can go on my trips to Japan and how cool they were in the States. Man, I got so much to talk about, man.
Bro, let's do it. Let's do a part 2, man. We'll definitely have to get it done. But guys, thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you for Kasai for doing this episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. Guys, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, all that good shit. And also, please, if you're listening on a podcast platform, give us a 5-star fucking review because we really appreciate it.
Yeah, fucking 5-star review, guys. Get on it.
That's it. Give it up, guys. But we're going to catch you again very, very soon. Take care. All the best. Peace. We appreciate you.